Hello, everyone. Do you hear me? Hello. I'm uncomfortably excited to be on this stage for my second time. The last time was 1 year ago. So today I want to start with a little game. And no icebreaker, no energizer, you can relax. We'll play roulette. Who want to play roulette? The guy in the front, please. Place your bet. Choose a number. 21. Which color? Red. 21 red. Sorry. 12 red. You lost. All your money. Someone else want to play again? One last chance. Yes. 8 black. Sorry, you lost. 2 black. So these two guys on the front, they have something in common. 2 things. First, they've been very brave to volunteer and lost all their money. But second, they had 3% in common. 3% were the chances to win at this game today. But 3% is also the chances that you have to see active users in your app 30 days after the download. It's like playing roulette. So when I was preparing for this talk, I was looking up some quote on the internet, and there was one in particular that I like a lot, and I will leave you a few seconds to read it through. So as most of you probably know, Garry Kasparov is one of the best chess players in the world. And I like this quote because it's short, concise, which is the same thing. It's short and gets straight to the point. And the point of today is exactly about this. And I have a question for you. Do you want, when it comes to your app, or imagine if you don't have an app, imagine you have one, and you want to promote it out there. Do you want to play chess, or you want to play roulette? Yes, this was a rhetorical question. I'm sure you want to play chess. So, to do it today, I want to introduce you to 3 friends. I want to introduce you to Sylvia, Brian, and Olivia. In the last weeks, I looked through my network and I interviewed a bunch of people, and I selected these 3 travelers because I thought their story could inspire you. But let's go one by one. And before going one by one, let me share you again what they have in common. Everyone has a different need. You will see that Sylvia wants just to install the right app, while Brian, he wants yes to install the right app, but he also wants to make a booking with that app. And Olivia, she wants to make a purchase. Okay, keep this in mind, and let's start to know a bit more about these 3 folks. Sylvia. Sylvia is 27. She's from Italy, and her life goal is to see 30 countries by her 30th birthday. Challenging, isn't it? So when I asked her about her experience with traveling and with apps, this is what she said. Of course, she said many other things. She just didn't went through to this, but this was something I really find it interesting. So she always searched for the right app to navigate the complexity of the transportation in that place. Makes sense. So the next question is, how do we reach Smart Sylvia? I liked her Smart Sylvia. Sorry, I called her Smart Sylvia because she's a smart traveler to me. She uses smartphone and apps to make her traveling experience better. How do we reach her in the moments that matter? The one followings are just examples, trying to use your imagination and apply this to your app, your business, or whatever you do, and you will see that it fits. Imagine that Sylvia goes on the Google Play Store and search for transportation app. I'm sure that if you have an app that can tell Sylvia what are the best transport options in that city, you want to show there. First place. Or if she go on Google search engine and she search for trains in Dublin, and you have an app that provides trains information, you definitely want to tell to Sylvia that her app is the right answer. Or finally, imagine that she's using other apps, but she's still traveling. She's in Dublin, as you know. And you can interrupt for a few seconds her app experience and tell her that you have the right app for her. So let's leave Sylvia aside for a second, and let's start to know a bit more about Brian. Brian is 35. He's from UK. And can you guess who is that sad lady in his passport? Is his wife. His wife is sad because Brian is very busy and he travels much more for business than for leisure with her. Sad, but still true. So this is what busy Brian told me when I interviewed him. So he's so busy that every place he goes, he tries to find the right app to book a meal in advance. It could be getting a delivery in his hotel or home or Airbnb, or could be just booking a table in advance so that when he gets there, the table is waiting for him. So how do we reach busy Brians? Or how do we reach all the busy Brians out there? Examples. Here, again, we show him what we call an interstitial. So a banner ad that takes all the screen of the users. But this is a special interstitial because also feature the video of your app. So the user can actually roll the video, look at your content, and really understand if he needs your app. And only if he does, click on download. This is what we call a pre-qualified user or a high-value user because he watched your content, saw what you have to offer, and then just decided what to do. Or imagine that Brian is looking at the TED Talk to get inspiration for his next meeting, and you do a pre-roll video just before the TED Talk showing about your app and how it works and how it could provide the best food options in that city. Finally, let's meet Olivia, and then you will see where I'm going. Olivia is 45. She's from Germany, and she usually travels with her family, 2 beautiful kids and her husband. When I asked her about her experience with travel and apps, this is what she said. So this is why I call her Orderly Olivia. She's the one in the family that wants to make sure that everything is in order, organized, and planned for the day. How do we reach Orderly Olivia? For example, imagine that Olivia is sitting in her hotel room and she's reading an article about the top 10 things to do in that city. Let's say she's in Italy. And in the middle of the article, we remind her that there is an app inside her phone that has this answer, but not only has this answer, can also help her to purchase the next activity for the family and book it straight away. In fact, if you look at the blue button, is an open call to action. It means that app is already there. But probably Olivia, as me, has more, and you probably, has more than 100 apps on her phone, and she completely forgot about this one. Or maybe she's proactively looking for things to do in Italy on Google search. And again, we remind her that the things to do in Italy are just right there in the app already on her phone, and she can book them straight away. So the first lesson of my short talk is know your opponent. It's the same as chess. You won't pretend to win at chess if you don't know the other person, if you don't know how he will play, what his moves, what's his strategy unusual. You want to see a lot of videos of this person playing chess and understand who they are, how they move. It's the same with your potential audience. You want to know them. So these were examples. They usually in marketing call it personas. And I'm sure you can outline your persona as well. So this is the first thing I suggest you to do. Now you know that Sylvia is smart Sylvia. You don't only know Brian, you know busy Brian. And you not only know Olivia, you know that she's called orderly Olivia. But is this enough? Of course not. You want to have a strategy, the one that Gary Kasparov called out in that quote. So what could be the strategy for these 3 personas? For the Sylvias out there, you probably just want to drive installs at scale, because you remember, she just wanted to download the right app. But for the Brians out there, you also want to acquire high-quality user. You remember what we call also pre-qualified users. And for the Olivia out there, you just want to drive transaction. Remember that Olivia already has the app on her phone. But after this, how do you define success? What success look like? Let's say that for Silvia, for example, success for you could be just cost per install. Simple as that. But for Brian, you also want to look at cost per booking. And when you evaluate the right cost per booking, you will probably want to factor in the average cost of a booking for your business, for your app. And if your app or your business is not related to bookings, just try to be creative and shift it to what is important for you. Or for the Silvia out there that already has the app, for the Olivia out there, you just want to drive purchases. And success for you could just be cost per purchase. Great. So now you know your opponent, you have a strategy, an objective, you define success, but you might start wondering, how do I measure all of this? You have mainly two options. So measurement and apps are probably probably the best friend or the best enemies, depending on how you want to look at it. It's one of the most complicated things in some people's mind, and in some other people's mind, like me, is also quite easy. So I want to simplify it for you so you know what are the options out there. The first option is you put a piece of code inside your app. This piece of code is called SDK. It could be a Google piece of code, so a Google SDK, or it could be a third-party SDK. It doesn't matter. You will see later what you can do with it. Or imagine that you are in a rush. You just closed and uploaded your app. Your account manager said to you, you need to put an SDK, and you said, oh gosh, I didn't do it. It's too late. The next release is in a month. Well, you can still do something without a code. So let's see what you can do with one option and the other. So if you have an SDK, if you're lucky enough to have one, you can track in-app activity. So after the install, you can know exactly what the user do inside your app. Track it, and as you can probably already guess, use that information for retargeting afterwards. In fact, you can create audience lists. So based on the in-app activity, you can segment your users and understand which segments are most valuable for you and use them. And finally, you can use our algorithm to use Conversion Optimizer, which will optimize for in-app events, which in other words means if booking is what is important for you, you can just say to the algorithm, please bring in more booking. But if you're not as lucky, you can still do something. You can track clicks straight away in AdWords. But also, which is maybe not so obvious, you can track installs. Some of you that weren't aware might be wondering, how do you track installs if I don't have any code sending that information to you, Google? Well, Google Play Store is of Google, so we have an integration between Google AdWords and Google Play Store, and we're able to send this information straight to AdWords without you putting any code inside your app. There is one thing that you need to do, or your agency need to do for you, or your account manager. You need to link Google AdWords with Google Play Store. And you can do it from the Account Setting tab. You will just have 3-4 options, and one of them is Google Play Store. You just click there and follow the instruction. In a couple of days, you will get two things. You will start seeing installs, but most than everything, you will see a list of all your app users. In fact, even if you don't link Google Play Store to Google AdWords, you will magically see that installs are still available for you in AdWords. So the linking part that I just mentioned will help you to achieve the reach all app users. So we'll create a list for you in the shell library that you can retarget in any moment. The most common question I receive is, yeah, but these users are only users that I acquired through AdWords. I want to reach them all. No, these users are all users that downloaded your Android app from the Play Store, regardless of the source they were coming from. You just need to link AdWords with Play Store. Okay, but so you now know a bit more your opponent. You have a clear strategy, and you set objectives, and you know how to measure success. But there is still a moment where you can lose at this game, is if your user experience in the app is bad. Jamal, my colleague, talked a lot about it, so I will go fast on it, but there are 3 key moments where I think you could lose the Sylvia, the Brians, the Olivias out there. App navigation and exploration. This example is from a car dealer app. And I like it because it clearly states in the top menu the 4 sections of this app: cars, motors, vans, and trucks. So now think about Sylvia. She wanted to find trains in Dublin. If your app provides that, and she has the app open on her phone, you want to make sure that the category and the type of transportation available are clear and easily to navigate. Imagine that one of them is train, she swaps, and she's there, and she finds the trains in Dublin. Or in-app search. Imagine Brian. She's doing the in-app search, and she can't find what he's looking for. What I like of this example from Thomas Cook is that they don't only give you the possibility to do an in-app search, but they also give you different ways to filter the result, to sort them, to show them in different way in the list, or to put them on a map. It's very different from just putting a random list of results. Think the difference between Brian seeing just a long list of restaurants available in that city, or the restaurant being sortable by proximity to Brian or by type of food. Maybe he's a fan of Japanese food, and he can quickly filter and just see all the Japanese restaurants around him. Finally, commerce and conversion. Olivia just wants to make a purchase. In this great example from Nashim, which is a retailer from Middle East, they have a few things that makes the process of payment very easy. On the top, they clearly states the 2 steps. Well, first, it's a good thing there are only 2 steps and not 5, 6, 7, as sometimes we are used to. But they are very clearly stated. Few fields, only the ones that are needed. And as Jamal said, a very prominent call to action in contracts in color. Finally, just to close the loop, they give you reassurance, which is very important when you're making a payment. Verified by Visa or MasterCard Secure Core are 2 of the many logos out there that can provide the reassurance to the users. Imagine Olivia, she found the activity that is right for a family that day, and she's about to make a purchase. Don't lose Olivia in this moment. Okay, so now we can finally start playing. Let's see all the moves that we did today at our game. We found Sylvia while she was discovering on the Play Store. But we also found Sylvia when she was searching on google.com and when she was engaging with other apps. What about Brian? We found him when he was engaging with other apps, but also when he was about to watch a TED Talk on YouTube. And finally, Olivia. We found her when she was on search.com, and the last move we did, we found her when she was surfing the mobile web. So the good thing is that if you have an Android app, you can easily do it with one single campaign type that we like to call Universal App Campaign. Okay, we are about to close. You are almost ready to play chess and not roulette. Remember, the first principle was know your opponent. Know your opponent. What's your audience? Try to define a few personas that can easily segment and represent your potential users. After you've done that, set a clear strategy with strong objectives. And after you've done that, define success and how to measure it. Now you can say, with a smile, checkmate. Thank you.